So towards the end of 1973, Prabhupada was in transit. He was either going from Los Angeles to London or coming back from London going to Los Angeles, and he was just stopping over in New York one day. I don't think it was a really scheduled visit because we only heard about it that morning. So in the morning they announced Prabhupada will be here this afternoon, and he's going to give the Bhagavad-gita class, and everybody should make sure they're back in time for Prabhupada's class. So I was going on in Sankirtan. I think I was at Port Authority bus station, and we stopped in enough time to come back for Prabhupada's class. Prabhupada gave a Bhagavad-gita class on the fourth chapter, text 13, Chaturvana Mayasrastam. So at the end of the class, Prabhupada asked for questions. And there was a couple of questions, 2, maybe 3, definitely 2. And then after the 2 questions, Prabhupada said, so are there any more questions? And nobody raised a hand. I said, okay. And then Prabhupada said it again. He said, are there any more questions? And nobody raised their hand. And then at that point, I was still not initiated. I was in the, living in the temple about 6 months, but there was plenty of devotees there who had been 2, 3 years like that. So I was thinking to myself, come on, somebody ask a question. It's obvious, I was thinking, it's obvious that Prabhupada wants to continue speaking. Somebody ask a question. And, but nobody raised their hand. And I guess I don't remember even if I consciously thought this, if it was just like a knee-jerk reaction, but Prabhupada asked again, are there any more questions? So I didn't have a question. At least I didn't have one formulated in my mind. But I was feeling uncomfortable. I felt like, this is ridiculous. Somebody should ask a question. Prabhupada wants to continue speaking. So I just raised my hand, and they called on me. And I said, Srila Prabhupada, could you say something about the mercy of Lord Chaitanya? Not even a proper question, really, because I didn't have a question. And he was sitting on the Vyasasana, and he was sitting like in a very relaxed position. And he leaned over to Shruti Kirti. Yeah, Shruti Kirti. And he said, I could kind of hear softly, but picked up the movement of his lips. What did he say? I guess I didn't speak up loudly and clearly enough. So Shruti Kirti leaned over to Prabhupada and repeated something to him. Whether he repeated exactly what I said or formulated it as a proper question, I don't know. And I will never know, because I asked Shruti Kirti, subsequent to that, maybe 5 or 10 years ago, if he remembered. He didn't even remember the whole incident. And that class was not recorded, so I'll never know. But anyway, he repeated something to Prabhupada. And after he did that, Prabhupada, as I said, was sitting very relaxed. And then all of a sudden, he just sat up very straight, like, really straight. And he said, it is already said, Padam, and with his hands and everything, he said, Padam Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. So continue doing Sankirtan and you'll be victorious. And that was it. He just, shot that out there like that. And then I was kind of like stunned, to be honest with you, because I thought, whoa, what happened? Did I just get chastised, or what just happened here? And I didn't know what to make of it. And then that was the end of the class. He didn't ask for any more questions. And then devotees approached me afterwards, and they said, oh, congratulations, Bhakta Jeff. I said, what, congratulations? What do you mean? And they said, yeah, you just got a personal instruction from Srila Prabhupada. So I said, oh, okay. And ironically enough, that's been my service. I'm still, that's my service, Sankirtan. And pretty much I've been in the movement now 43 years, 3 months, and at least 90% of the time I've been doing Sankirtan. So I don't know if it was like a blessing, or I don't know. It's hard to. I know that I have thought about that on at different points in time, and just I reminded myself, well, Prabhupada said, just continue doing Sankirtan, you'll be victorious. And there have been a lot of turning points when I just remembered that instruction and decided, well, I mean, I don't know really how significant it is, but Prabhupada did say that to me, so let me continue doing that, and I have, and I'm still here. So anyway, so maybe there's something to that. If I had to choose one quality that Prabhupada had that really stands out in my mind as being, the quality that I'm most inspired by, I would have to say it's his boldness or his fearlessness. And I'll explain what I mean by that. I joined in 1973. At that time, nobody believed in reincarnation. I mean, there was people who maybe heard of it, but no mainstream educated people believed in reincarnation. Actually, they used to be, the word they used to refer to it was metempsychosis. Everybody knows what a psychosis is, it's like a mental disorder, So in other words, it was not like an idea that was very much appreciated among educated circles. So here's Prabhupada, 1973, coming out, and one of his foremost preaching points is, we're not the body. You're not this body. You're a spirit soul. And he went on to say, you're an eternal servant of Krishna, and the real purpose of human life is to revive your awareness of your... So, that was like very bold thing to present back in 1973. And something that, and I've been appreciating that more and more as time goes on. Like one of the big things Prabhupada emphasized while he was still with us was he wanted to see the materialistic scientists defeated. And some devotees took up that instruction, that mandate, and I think it was in the early 80s they produced this magazine called Origins Magazine. And one of the articles in that magazine was about consciousness. I can't remember the exact name of the article, but one of the things that was mentioned in the article was about this research that this man has conducted, starting also in the late 60s, about children who remember their past lives. And he was a scientist. He was actually the chairman of the department of something in University of Virginia. So in other words, he conducted this research for 40 years, and then when he passed away, there's another man who's taking it up. So basically, there seems to be good quality empiric evidence to support this idea, that we are something other than just this material body. And now it's very fashionable to say, I believe in reincarnation of this, but back in those days it wasn't. Prabhupada was preaching that, not just like in a quiet way. He was like, that was his main point, one of his main preaching points, back at a time when it was incredibly unpopular, to the point where people would think you're like, something wrong with you if you believe in that. Same thing with vegetarianism. But Prabhupada wasn't daunted by that at all. Prabhupada preached that very strongly, and I think it's like an amazing, for me, it's a very significant thing that it's all being bared out. And it's like now here we are 50 years later, and as far as I'm concerned, I feel I could present Krishna consciousness to any open-minded person. Any open-minded person, I could present Krishna consciousness with complete confidence and conviction, and at least get them to the point where they have to admit that this is something that's worthy of serious further consideration. I did that with my father. My father is a dyed-in-the-wool, he was a electrical engineer, but I had him, we had these kind of discussions, and I showed him, presented this evidence to him, and he had to admit that, yeah, this is interesting stuff. This is something that I have to, think about a bit more. And I've heard stories similar to that from other devotees who have parents who are from scientific backgrounds. So, I think that's like an amazing credit to Srila Prabhupada. He came with the truth. It wasn't a popular truth that he was going to present that didn't faze him in the least. He presented it, and now, as time goes on, there's going to more and more things are, falling in place, stacking up to, to show that what Prabhupada was presenting, was right.